Are you gonna?
Are we? Is this on?
Yeah.
Hello?
Usually you
Is
tell
this
someone
on?
who's leading this intro.
Is this on?
And we're back.
And we're back.
Yeah, this is part
this
2.
on?
Remember,
Yeah.
this was
Yeah.
we
Hello.
just yeah.
Welcome back is what I'm getting at here. Welcome back to the Unlock Podcast. This is part 2 of an episode last week, a continuation on the, oh boy, top 10 things that you should
this
know.
is great. This is
or
great.
the best, man, well, this was a week ago. It was top 10 things to,
It's just an important top 10. People should pay attention.
You know,
it's good stuff.
it
You know,
was-
is horrible
it is
as
the
your
top
title.
10 things. I've got this. Top 10 things you should know to advance your career in the security industry.
Ooh,
Glad we got
man.
a simple title.
That
I was really just excited that you got stuck on the top 10 things. You know, what the things.
It was,
Things.
yeah. But because this is a continuation, I should still probably introduce us.
Yeah,
I
for
know
sure.
this is an introduction. I should start off by saying this is the Unlock Podcast. We are in episode 42. We are 3 business owners from across the world.
and parts unknown.
Oh, and parts unknown, right. Ladies and gentlemen.
Like Calgary is a part unknown.
I have the pleasure of being the host this week. Lars Johnson up in Calgary, Alberta. That strapping young man in the middle, standing in his sauna.
I thought
That
you
would
were
be
talking about
me.
me for a second.
I
and
am,
then oh, yeah.
Tony Hokanson with Assured Security in Minneapolis, Minnesota. You know, I've done this too much lately, but I actually thought you did a great job with this topic so far. Like the first 5, I was excited. I thought there was some good stuff. Even you had some good takeaways. I'm excited to see what you come up with for the
Hear that, folks?
next 5.
Episode
Like,
41 was a
if you-
doozy. You
like,
should probably go back.
Listen, like if you didn't listen to 41, absolutely listen to it. I think it is one of our best, and I think we're going to bring some good value in this one to come. So I'm excited. You did a wonderful job. I commend the person who had the idea to let others pick some topics because it was a great idea. It's led to some great topics.
But that is a heck of an intro for Tony. Hey, you there with the beard. You want to introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm Chad Lingefelt from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, and combined,
And I'm
we
not
are
in, yeah.
the Unlock
Unlocked.
Podcast.
Unhinged, unlocked, something like that.
Something like that, yes. So episode 42, we are the continuation. Top 10 things you should know to advance your career in the
before we
security
get
industry.
started,
Tony, why do you keep cutting me off?
Just because you talk too much. Man, I want to give a shout out to our friend Ken Kupferman down in Orlando. Just completed a huge acquisition. Kudos to him for that. That's awesome. I love seeing that. He texted us the other day.
Let's hope that's public.
It is. He
It's
posted
on
it
Facebook.
on, yeah, it's on Facebook and LinkedIn.
But yeah, you know, he texted us. It's on Facebook. He merged businesses with our friend Bo at Armstrong Lock and Key. That's an awesome thing for them, growing and doing big things. I love that. So shout out to Ken. Good work.
Yeah. Big things happening down in Florida.
Yeah,
It is.
More than just humidity. They are growing locksmith businesses down there.
That is lock shops. That's what Ken calls them. Lock shops.
stores,
yeah.
lock stores.
Yeah.
No,
Lock
lock
shops.
shops. He
Does
really
not
performs
use,
lock
does not
shops.
use the word shop.
It's a
Every
lock
time
shop.
you
He
go
loves
into Affordable Lock and Key, just say, "This is a great shop."
It's a
Yeah,
nice
he
little
will
lock
love that.
shop you got, Ken.
Yeah, send him a note. It'll be great. Okay, so we did 1 through 5 last episode. Tony left us on a great little attribute of information around soft skills. It was fantastic. And now Lars is up next. Are you prepared, Lars, for number 6?
We should probably let people have a moment so they can go get a pen. So I probably want to write some of this down.
Oh, for sure. Yes. Yeah. Make sure get your quill ready and so that you can jot down these words of wisdom as we jump into number 6.
Continue on. Here we go. Building habits. That's going to be my next one. Build habits early.
Ooh.
Okay. So nowadays, it is incredibly important to build positive habits because, as I'm sure you guys are all recognizing too, as you get older, you're just physically less capable. You're more tired. You have other things in life. It's just no one thinks it's going to happen.
Can you guys explain that?
Wow.
Lars
so
might
much
be able
younger.
to.
Next
Tony's
week,
so
join
much
us where
younger.
Chad and I have our own podcast, and Tony. It's inevitable, and no one thinks it's going to happen to them. But I certainly noticed in my late 30s that I physically just wasn't the same, and there was a bunch of habits that I wish I put in place earlier, and that was, a lot of our guys just eat something from fast food. They eat whatever's convenient. They smoke, they drink. It just don't take a lot of physical care. And it's just out of habit, right? You just get in that routine. Next thing you know, it's been, it's been a year, it's been 2 years, it's been 5 years, and you're kind of doing the same thing. So what was important to me is, I used, I have a Tuesday afternoon calendar block that I spend the afternoon 4 hours doing basically whatever. But I'm listening to a book or reading a book or doing something to, enhance my learning, basically. And it's just become a habit. Now I don't think about it. Now I do it. The book Atomic Habits was kind of an eye opener for me. It talks about stacking process. I was at a conference yesterday, and they were talking about, wellness, which is a pretty overused topic these days. But, it reinforced to me kind of one of my biggest takeaways was, when are you most productive during the day? For me, it's 8 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Do the important things there and guard that time with your life.
Yeah.
So that's just a habit that I've gotten out of. I've got to build it back, because the earlier you can build these habits, and if you're a young person on the road, maybe it's, get to work 15 minutes early, have a coffee, and talk to people. But get into that habit, because learning these types of skills and building them into a habit makes it way easier. Tony, you talked about the pain of learning something new, or the pain, right? If it's a habit, it makes it so much easier. So building habits, that's number 3.
That would be number 6 for those keeping track.
Number 2.
It was your number 2. Yes.
Sure. I think that that good habits are bad. Let's see, bad habits are a limiter to your just personal development. So, trying to say this, there are a lot of people that have found success with also having bad habits. But the question comes back to is if they had a base of good habits, how much more would they be capable of? If they were able to get to that point with having bad habits and having bad discipline, just imagine what bigger impact they would have had if they would have been able to start with a good base. And I look back at my life when I put health as a priority, then a lot of other things fell in line, because I had the energy to focus, clarity of mind to be able to do the things that I needed to do. And previous to that, you were fighting the distraction. And I think right now I was at my Vistage meeting last Thursday, and we were talking about the impact of this next generation and how they've grown up, and like 60 or 80% of their living time is in front of a screen, if it's a computer or a television, a personal device, and how that impacts their ability to focus. Right. And so just, and this is not an anti-screen time thing, but it's like it is an impact to us as a society. And figuring out what are those disciplines that you need to have in your life that are important to you, that will also ultimately build into other positive disciplines. And the book Atomic Habits is by far the best definition of all that, starting with those small things and stacking on top of them that build to just broader, greater accomplishments.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is going to win out over intensity every day. If Lars goes to the golf course and practices for 10 hours and I go and practice an hour a day for 2 months, I'm going to get better. He's going to
I'll still beat you, but yours is a better strategy.
Right. Yes. So you wouldn't still beat me, but that's definitely a better strategy. So, but yeah, just building those little things into your day. I started doing that at the beginning of this year. I wanted to read more physical books. I listen to audiobooks. I read 10 pages every morning. It seems like nothing. It takes me 10 minutes. but I've now gotten through 5 books or something like that. And it doesn't take me any time, but it is that consistent routine. That is, it really leads to a lot of growth.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So,
Chad,
I'm next.
lay it on us.
Being effective is better than being right.
Being effective is better than being right.
Yes.
God, you're profound today.
explain that one, Chad.
Aristotle? Is that a thing?
No. Being effective better than being right. Oftentimes we, with our own egos, like to be right about everything. We need to win the debate. We need to win the argument. We need to tell our customer that we're right and they're wrong. We need to tell our team member that we were right and they were wrong. And it ultimately, it kind of leads back to the previous point that I said about it does matter how people perceive you.
Right.
And it's an isolating behavior if you're always right and you always need to point out that you're right. I've encountered several situations with people where they both need to be right. So they both fall into this category that neither one can be wrong. And so they will effectively, not to overuse that word, but they will basically get stuck because they both need to be right. And both of their opinions could have some validity around them. But it's the way that they see the world at that point, that they're both need it to be done this way because that's the right way. And so progress halts because they can't agree on the path for the future or the next step. Because if I do it your way, then you're right and I'm wrong. If you do it my way, then I'm right and you're wrong. Being effective is understanding what the path forward is. And you deal with this a lot of times in customer conflicts. You deal a lot of this with sales objections, just personal relationships as a whole.
Yep.
Like getting to the point of realization, do I need to be right in the matter or do I want to be effective? Are we going to move forward is a game changer. And I've seen so many people get stuck at a certain position or certain progression in their career because they always have to be right. And at some point in time, people just avoid them or let them stay in their own little corner because anytime you interact with them, it's just their way or the highway. They just have to be right all the time. And they don't have effective progression and they don't have effective results because of the limitation that they've created.
It's a good one. Intrigued what Lars has going on here.
Oh, he was about to die. He was coughing his head off.
I was coughing.
Just took a drink.
I hit the coffee.
Yeah.
Hit the coffee. Yeah.
Coughing coffee.
Yeah.
No, I like
Chad,
that.
What that made me think of is I've got another frog in my throat.
He's about to die.
Listen to me have a sip of coffee. This would be great.
What it made Lars think of was
the book Never Split the Difference. So in the, I know focused in people that are working in organizations right now, not necessarily business owners, but if you're a manager or you're someone that's in a conflict kind of resolution role, which I think everyone is to some degree. But especially if you have kids, the Never Split the Difference, is a really good book about an FBI negotiator. I think it's Voss.
Chris Voss.
Chris
Voss.
That's tough to say. Chris Voss.
Hard to say with a lisp.
Voss. But he it's the strategy that the negotiators that get called in for hostage situation. Anyway, it's a really good book, and it really talks about how to deal with these high stress, and especially with individuals that have to be right, and how you can compromise without compromising, but get to the effective result that you want. So,
Tony, did you memorize that guy's name or did you just Google it? Because that's impressive.
I know the book. I like the book. It's a great book. I've listened to like 7 podcasts with him on it. So like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I read the book as well, but I would have had no clue what the title.
Lots of queens. Rain Man, I think you're up here next.
Yeah, I can't decide which one I want to talk about.
This is indecisive. This is my favorite.
This is the issue here. I think I got 2 good ones. So you know what? I'm going to throw you guys for a loop and say them both. So
you should rebrand, Tony. You should do some rebranding. That was a fun exercise.
My first one is so kind of tying on to the conflict one. I'm going to say also, don't be afraid of conflict if you're passionate about what you believe in. I think we run into this in our organization because we're so Minnesota nice and we don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers. But like in an organization where you're trying to grow and you're trying to do the right thing, so many people are afraid of calling somebody out if they're not following a process correctly or they're not doing something correctly. And it's not like it's the broccoli in your teeth analogy, right? If Chad has broccoli in his teeth, would he rather that I tell him, or would he rather just sit there with broccoli in his teeth, right? He wants to tell him, but you're always hesitant to say, hey, you got something in your teeth. So many people in our team and just in life are afraid of calling somebody out, and it's not really calling somebody out. Most of the time people are appreciative. They're like, oh, that's a good point. Thank you. So that one is, what are you humming about there?
I don't know. I had PTSD when you said broccoli. I just completely was starting to
spinach in your teeth.
I am humming about because, well, it wouldn't be an episode if we didn't bring up Culture Index a little bit here.
Yeah.
So Culture Index, for reference, is a personality assessment tool that the 3 of us all use. But one of the characteristics in Culture Index is the social ability. And so, for instance, I would be one of the people that would sit there and let you have broccoli in your teeth because I feel it's more rude and I don't want to hurt your feelings, believe it or not. And so it would just be something.
Wait, you are worried about being rude?
That's the high social ability is that.
And are you sure you have high social ability?
Yeah,
he's on the high side of it.
You have zero apprehension to rudeness.
Well, just when dummies like you bother me, I have to.
Oh, so I push you so much over the edge. That
correct.
Yes. If you want to know more about Culture Index, you can go back to episode number 9.
Episode number 9, or the Google machine. But the apprehension for some people to have that conflict is directly correlated with the social ability. Tony, you are more facts and data. You are more of a robot.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
That is actually that is actually brilliant. You just touched on something that I think might have unlocked something, no pun intended, for me. Like people that struggle with that they're high Bs, high social ability.
They're people pleasers.
Yeah.
They don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah. That's brilliant. That's my biggest takeaway. Wow.
And,
Lars, that's good stuff.
And then facts and data, people would rather be right. What's more important? I literally had this conversation last night with a young lady. We went for dinner, and she was.
We need to unpack that a little bit.
Let's just take a 5 here, everyone. But she was talking about, she said something, and I was like, that's one of those things you probably say on the inside.
Yeah.
And she said, well, it's true. It's like, yeah, but that's not the important part. It's true, but it's rude. And
anyways,
some people think it's, yes.
The point that I'm trying to make here is don't be afraid of that from an improvement standpoint, right? Like in your organization, you want to grow, you want to develop. Like obviously you want to be concerned with someone's feelings and don't be rude like Lars, but make sure that you are giving people feedback or holding people accountable when they're like, if you know you're in the right, and I'm not saying be worried about being right, but if you're confident in your thoughts, don't be afraid to share them, because a lot of times what we see is like we implement processes and then people are so hesitant to say, oh, this person's not following this. Well, this person may not know the process. They might be doing it intentionally. Yeah. And it's just, so obviously you don't want to be a prick, but don't be afraid of holding people accountable to being
explicit rating. Here we go.
So you're effectively saying you need to have a good environment or culture of accountability.
You need to have that environment. Yes, that is necessary to having a culture of accountability is necessary to grow and be deliver quality to your customer. So don't be afraid of that, because if the team cares about quality, they're going to appreciate the feedback.
Yeah. So, my business coach, Kurt Graves, uses the term carefrontation quite a bit. And that's what comes to mind when you're talking about this, is confronting the issue, having that culture of accountability with a level of care and concern for the human. So it doesn't give you the authority to be a complete jerk to everybody that you talk to and just go in there and tell people they're stupid and they're not doing it the right way. But holding people accountable and having confrontation, but in a careful way, because you actually do care about the best for that individual or for your organization. And so you want to make sure it's
I think there's a book about that. I think Kim Scott.
Good word by Kurt. Yeah, Radical Candor.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going number 9 here. I'm stealing this. I'm going out of order. You guys are good at improvising.
Wow.
I'm going with number 9. I want one more. Figure out why you're working. Figure out your own personal why. I think that a lot of people, they're so focused on, I'm working because I have to. I need a job. I need money. I don't know why I need money, but I know I need money, so I just need to get a job because someone told me I need to get a job. Okay, that's fine. You do need a job. You need to have some money, but figure out why you want that money, or what motivates you. Figure that out and tie that to your career. So many people, I think they're just like, I want money. I want more money. So I need to go down this path. I need to work in customer service, and then I need to become a customer service manager, and then I need to become a whatever. And it's like, well, why do you want to do that? Or I want to be a technician, and then I want to be a manager because I want more money. Well, why? And also that there's multiple paths to achieve your why. So I think that's the first step, is really knowing why do you want to do this? What are you passionate about? Figure out that passion, and then be really good at that passion.
It's like that dentist that I played golf with one time that was a miserable dentist. And he was saying that he hated what he did, and he was closed on Fridays because doing dentistry work 4 days a week was bad enough. Why would you do it 5 days a week? And it sounded like he may have chosen that career because of the compensatory value associated with it.
Yeah. Like, figure out, like, I think you hear this all the time on podcasts, and I can relate to it. Like, if you like what you do, you don't have to love what you do, but it sure helps. Like, I don't consider coming to work. I love it. Like, and I have hobbies outside of work and everything. But like, if you love what you do and you get a passion behind it, it becomes easy to grow, because then it's fun. Where if you're just saying, I want to come here and work for 40 hours, 9 to 5 and make money. I mean, that's fine. I understand there's you have to do that, but it becomes far easier if you like it and then have a passion towards it. And I find that when people are passionate towards something, then it just naturally leads to growth. And that may be management, that may be being a technician, that may be whatever it is. But there are multiple paths to growth, and it's easier to get to that path if you figure out why you're doing it. So,
Start with why. Is that what you just?
I think that's what he just said.
Start with why. That'd be a good book.
Every one of Tony's points today is basically a book.
Yes,
that's a good job.
That's rude. He's rude.
Well, Tony,
they all had a book reference.
Didn't we?
What are the fundamentals? What book is do the fundamentals?
Didn't we just talk about it's okay to be rude if you're right? Isn't that what your previous point was?
I don't think that's what.
Oh,
but I would argue that wasn't radically candid. That was passive aggressive.
Oh,
that was not. That was just an observation.
I don't think that was passive. That was just aggressive.
I'm more so concerned about the other hobbies that you have outside of work.
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone in the world who knows me knows what they are.
Food and golf. That's it.
Hunting and snowmobiling. Hanging out with my family.
Nice fishing.
No, that's not a hobby.
Well, that's riveting.
I ice fish that's not one of my hobbies. It is a hobby, but it's certainly not one of mine. I ice fish once every year. It's more about hanging out with friends.
I'm going to, speaking of riveting, I'm going to give you the most boring piece of advice ever. Okay. But it's also maybe the biggest impact on my life. My professional career, I should say. Pretty simple.
Hang out with Chad?
That's lower on the list.
That's number 2.
That's quite a bit lower on the list. Read. Read a book. Listen to a book. Do something. There is no better activity to engage your mind, to enhance your view of the world, to mature you, to challenge you, to inspire you. Mm-hmm. If you hate reading, that's fine. You know, when you were a little kid, you probably hated brushing your teeth. But, you know, this is, for some reason, your parents just said, you know, you got to do it. And this is something that you have to force yourself to do. Get Audible, $7 a month, works great. You don't need to sit down and dedicate 5 hours a day, but get something and build that habit of reading books, because there's so much good literature out there, and it just reading a good book, a good business book. We've rattled off a handful here, but think about all the experiences we've had and everything we talk about every week. The foundation for virtually everything we talk about is from books and reading. So that's not going to be a popular one, but I know it is huge. It has such an impact on your life and your career.
Yeah, I was going to challenge that a bit, and then I decided not to, because I was going to say, I think the more important thing is to learn, but also I think what you said is really valuable. Like, I think reading is people would argue with this, but reading is a really valuable way of learning, because reading goes so in depth, right? Like, you could go watch a TED Talk on something, but that's very surface level. Reading is I think a lot of people don't like it. It has a bad stigma because in school, most people hated it. But books go so in depth, and they really help you learn, but also, like you said, Lars, they generate new ideas for you. And I think you don't get that same in-depth ideas from watching a podcast or watching a TED Talk, or, you know, listening to a podcast. Besides our podcast, which is obviously great, most podcasts are more surface level. And I think people like them better because they are so quick, right? You listen to podcasts, it's like 15 minutes of 10 tips on what you can do to be better at, which are great. But I think if you're not reading, you don't get that in-depth knowledge, and you need both. So I was going to disagree with you, and then the more I thought about it, I actually really like that.
Well, so there's more rationale behind it. I'm a huge believer. I'm an anti-cell phone person. Screen time, TikTok, Instagram, I think, are some of the worst things to ever happen to society.
You're really sounding old.
Well, I just think that, and I experience it myself. I've realized I've trained myself a habit that my attention span is, like we joke about it.
I agree.
It is awful. It's, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, my phone's sitting on my lap. Oh, well, I got to look at that. And, it's just, it is such a detriment to where we're going. That's why I say reading specifically. It is an intentional act that you can't read a book and talk to somebody. You can't read a book and scroll Instagram. Reading is is it cathartic? Is that the word I'm looking for? It is an intentional, stillness exercise.
Meditation.
It is. It is just something that you can only do that. And your body relaxes, everything. It's just it is why I like it is, this will surprise you, but as I'm reading along, my mind starts wandering into different areas, and it makes me think of different things. And then I'll have to oh, wait, I go back and I missed the last 2 pages as I was thinking of something else. But it's when I'm done, if I read for 20 minutes or half an hour, I always physically feel just less stressed, more revitalized, excited. It's just, reading is an act that brings you to, just a different feeling.
Yeah, it's interesting. I spend a lot of time in the fall hunting, and I go up to my in-laws, which is an hour away. And one of the more enjoyable things about the hunting, but B, the experience is literally the drive, because I sit there for an hour and put on not a podcast. Usually I use it for books, because I like listening to books if I have more than a half an hour, because then you can really get into it. And I sit there and listen to probably 7 audiobooks in the fall, just from sitting in the deer stand, and listening, and B, driving. Really, the amount of thoughts and ideas that come up while doing that is very beneficial, and a really good one.
Yeah, I think we can all attest that reading has transformed our careers.
It has.
Because it's brought additional ideas, theories, concepts, proven results that you can copy or replicate or implement into either your behavior, your habits, your disciplines, or your business. So like my thought, because I think we're at the 12 now.
No, we're at 11.
Top 12.
I stole your
top
your
11
extra.
of 10.
No, you're good. And I the summary of all of these things are be intentional about your influences, because what you read is going to influence the way that you act, the way that you behave, the way that you operate, the people that you are surrounding yourself with, your reputation, all those things. So like really find like that at the end of the day, if I were to summarize all these down for somebody that's in the industry or at any point of their career, being intentional about your influences is a direction. Yeah, the old adage, you show me your 3 friends and I'll show you your future type thing is really holds to be true, is the people and the elements that you're being influenced by. If you are, whatever that is, if you look at it, you're either stagnant or you're advancing based off of the people and the things that you're saturating and absorbing into your brain and your psyche on a regular basis. So if you're only focused on being stagnant or the things that aren't going to progress you in your career, then that's where you'll hang out. If you're listening to, focusing on, reading, and surrounding yourself with those that are driven, then you're going to get the result of that as well. So that's really a huge element around, like, anytime that you're talking to somebody that's trying to figure out how to advance in their career, those are the things. I think this is an amazing list that you could dissect through and really be intentional. It's hard to do some of these difficult things that you guys have listed here, while also surrounding yourself by people that are trying to hold you back or drag you down or not focused on the same types of things.
I think that is our top 11. But
we got 11.
I do want to give an opportunity. Anything you've missed, and we don't need all the detail, but can you fire off a couple more? Any piece of advice? The one I was thinking of, we kind of touched on it, was you can choose to present yourself well. I think, Chad, you talked on that, but you can choose to look good. You can show up with a backwards hat and, a dip hanging out in your mouth and look like hell, or you can clean yourself up and present yourself well.
One would
That's
argue
a very
that's,
easy thing to do.
Reputation matters.
Any others? Rapid fire? Tony, you said you had like 40 on there. Chad, you got any more pearls?
Said them. I mean, another one is just don't be afraid to fail. Learn, take a chance. I think that it all comes back to learning, right? A lot of people learn by failing. Right. If you're in the right team, they're not going to care if you fail. They're going to care if you fail a lot, about the same thing. But don't be afraid of failure, because that's how you learn.
Find your niche. That'd be one I'd throw in there. Figure out what you like and try and do that and get paid for it. That's a nice touch.
Doing the right thing is often unsatisfying in the short term. I think oftentimes we all get stuck on that, man, this guy's advancing and he's a jerk, or he's short-sighting everything. And at the end of the day, the truth will reveal itself. Consistency around that over time. You might see some flash in the pans. You might see some people that are advancing and that they're fake or shoddy or whatever, but the truth will reveal itself over time.
I would throw out one more. I would say build relationships, build personal relationships with your team and your boss. Right. It's not what you know.
Matter.
It's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's couldn't be more true. Like it or not, it's a fact. So take a personal interest in your boss, take a personal interest in, the people that can help you advance. And I don't mean that to be superficial. And I mean, take a genuine interest, get to know people, because that personal relationship is really what drives your career and your progression.
That's awesome. Hey, I think we've probably come to the end of our top 10. That's maybe top 20. So that's a pretty good list there of pieces of advice that you would want people to know.
I think Tony, so. Let me do a recap here, Chad.
Oh, okay.
Success takes sacrifice. Focus on the things that don't take talent. Take ownership of your career progression. Your reputation matters. Soft skills are worth more than 50%. Build good habits early. Being effective is more important than being right. Don't be afraid of conflict. Read a book. And doing the right thing is often unsatisfying in the short term. Whew, boys, that's a little wisdom right here today.
Yeah. Now,
land this plane for us, Chad. We got a little tease coming up, don't we?
Tony's got our next topic for us. We do want to encourage you to visit unlockedpodcast.com for all of the episodes. There's blogs there. And every Thursday morning, a new episode comes your way, and it'll be full of wisdom and excitement and all the things that you just heard for the past hour or so, including this next topic that Tony Hokanson is going to tell us about right now.
So
this could go so sideways.
Tips to win in sales that aren't price related. So how to compete on value, not price. And I think that Chad and I have some difference of opinions here. So this one could be fiery. I'm excited.
Yeah, I think there was a text message conversation that you guys had, and for some reason I was in it.
It also led to like a 45-minute phone call that wasn't even related to this, but we were like, oh, we'll save that one. So yeah. How to win on value, not price.
I was trying to play golf and I had 170 text messages over. Well, what do you think? That was rude. Well,
in all fairness, I was trying to do something else as well. Tony got a little sensitive. So
yes, old sensitive.
He was rude.
Tone. Hey, being right's more important than being polite, right, Tony?
He was not being very carefrontational. He was being smug.
Unlockedpodcast.com. Check it out. We will see you next week right here on the one and only. Don't be confused with any other ones that are called the Unlocked Podcast. But this is the one and only, the original, some might say, Unlocked Podcast.
The best, for sure.